I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I didn't even ask her why. I just left. Maybe that's what unsettled her the most. That I didn't give her the fight she expected. That I didn't demand answers. That I made it easy for her to be with the man she had already chosen. I walked out without a word, filed for divorce the next morning, moved to a new city, and started over. For a year, I never looked back. Then, out of nowhere, she found me. She stood outside my door, eyes heavy with regret, whispering the words I never thought I'd hear. I made a mistake, but the thing about mistakes is that they always come with consequences. We weren't perfect, but I thought we were solid. We had history, 6 years together, 3 years married. I never questioned her loyalty. Never thought I had to. She was ambitious, always pushing for the next step in her career, and I supported her. I celebrated her wins, never once feeling insecure about her success. I believed in us. I believed in her. Then she got the promotion. A big step up. More responsibility. More late nights. More work trips. I was happy for her. Proud even. I told myself the changes were normal, that the distance between us was temporary. But then little things started piling up. The way she'd smile at her phone but never share the joke. The sudden work dinners that stretched late into the night. The way she'd get defensive if I asked too many questions. I wasn't looking for a reason to doubt her, but the doubts found me anyway. I still remember the night everything clicked. She came home smelling like cologne. Expensive, unfamiliar. Not mine. When I asked, she laughed it off, said it was probably from the office. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But something in my gut told me I shouldn't. Trust is a fragile thing. You never realize how much of it you have until it's gone. And the moment I started questioning her, I knew. I never wanted to be the guy who snooped. I believed that if you had to go looking for proof, the relationship was already broken. But doubt doesn't just sit quietly in the back of your mind. It grows, festers. And that night, it became impossible to ignore. She had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter. Normally, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But something about the way she rushed into the shower, the way she avoided looking me in the eye before disappearing down the hall, felt off. So I gave in. I told myself it was nothing, that I was overthinking. But the moment I clicked on her messages, I knew I wasn't. There it was. A conversation thread with his name at the top. Her boss. At first, it was casual. Too casual. Then I kept scrolling, and with every new message, the pit in my stomach grew. Inside jokes. Late-night conversations. Plans to meet up. It wasn't just work. It had never been just work. She'd been careful, discreet, deleting things when necessary. But she hadn't covered her tracks well enough. And that's when I found it. A message from just a few nights ago. I wish I was with you instead of going home. She had sent it while I was sitting at the dinner table, waiting for her, eating alone, believing she was just working late. I stared at the screen, my heart hammering in my chest. Not in anger, not in shock, just cold, sinking realization. She hadn't just cheated on me. She had moved on while I was still here, waiting for her, believing in something that had already been gone. I closed the laptop, stood up, walked to the bedroom. I didn't need to confront her. I didn't need to ask why. The messages told me everything. She had made her choice. Now I was making mine. I packed my bag, essentials only. Clothes, wallet, keys. No wedding photos. No sentimental keepsakes. Just what I needed to walk out the door and never come back. She came out of the shower, drying her hair, humming a song, like nothing had changed. And maybe for her, nothing had. She looked at me and smiled, completely unaware that in the span of 10 minutes, she had lost me. I looked at her one last time, memorizing the face of the woman I thought I knew. Then, without a word, I picked up my bag, walked past her, and left. Some people beg for explanations, for closure. I didn't need any of it. The truth was right there in black and white, and the only thing left to do was walk away. Leaving felt surreal. I wasn't running. I wasn't storming out in anger. I was just done. The weight of everything should have crushed me. But instead, it felt like I was finally breathing, for the first time in months. That night, I checked into a hotel, just sat on the bed, staring at the wall, processing what had just happened. The reality of it didn't fully sink in until I turned off my phone. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just silence. The next morning, I filed for divorce. There was no dramatic confrontation, no pleading, no tears, just paperwork. I left a copy at our home with a simple note. You made your choice. Here's mine. For the first few weeks, I expected to feel something. Regret, second thoughts, maybe even loneliness. But instead, all I felt was relief. No more excuses. No more doubt. No more waiting up at night, wondering if I was just imagining things. I moved to a new city, and I never looked back. I started fresh, got an apartment focused on work, hit the gym more. For the first time in years, my life was entirely my own again. And little by little, I started feeling like myself. The weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying had lifted. The doubt, the sleepless nights, the constant second-guessing, it was gone. Meanwhile, I heard whispers about her, about what had happened after I left. She and her boss hadn't lasted long. Office rumors spread quickly, and it turned out she wasn't the first woman he had done this with. She wouldn't be the last. The life she thought she was upgrading to, the one she had thrown everything away for, hadn't worked out the way she planned. And when it all fell apart, when she had nothing left, she came looking for the man she had betrayed. She just didn't realize that man didn't exist anymore. A year had passed. A year of silence. A year of rebuilding. A year of moving forward. I hadn't thought about her in months. Not in the way I used to. She had become just another part of my past, a closed chapter in a book I no longer reread. Then, one evening, I stepped out of my apartment, and there she was, standing on the sidewalk, looking unsure, nervous, like she wasn't sure if she should have come. For a second, I thought I was imagining her. Then she spoke. Hey, I've been trying to find you. I didn't respond. I just watched as she shifted awkwardly, her fingers gripping the strap of her purse like it was the only thing keeping her together. She looked different, not in the way time changes people, but in the way regret eats at them. The confidence she once carried, the arrogance of thinking she had something better, was gone, and in its place was someone who had finally realized the weight of what they had lost. I just wanted to talk, she said, her voice quiet, almost hesitant. I know I don't deserve that, but I needed to see you. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, waiting, letting her speak, letting her feel the silence stretching between us. I made a mistake, she admitted, her voice breaking. I don't know what I thought, but I do know that I ruined everything, and I have to live with that every day. Her words were raw, maybe even honest, but honesty didn't erase what she did, and it didn't change the fact that she wasn't standing in front of me because she loved me. She was here because he didn't. Why now? I asked, my voice even. Because your new life didn't work out. She flinched, looked away. She didn't even try to lie. I realized too late what I had. I nodded, more to myself than to her. Yeah, you did. For a moment, she looked like she wanted to reach for me, like she thought there was still a chance. But that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break trust. It kills whatever love was left. She had made her choice a long time ago, and so had I. Take care of yourself, Emily. I stepped back inside, and just like that, I closed the door. I stood there for a moment, my hand still on the doorknob, listening to the silence on the other side. No knocking, no last-minute pleas, just footsteps fading into the night. And that was it. No dramatic ending, no final argument, no desperate begging for another chance. Just closure, not because she gave it to me, but because I had already given it to myself. She didn't come back because she missed me. She came back because she missed the version of herself that felt safe in my love, the version of herself that didn't exist anymore. And that's why you never take them back, because if their new life had worked out, they would have never looked back at you. Some mistakes you can fix, others you have to live with. And as I closed that chapter for good, I realized something. The best revenge isn't anger. It's not even success. It's showing them that their absence made no difference in your life at all.